My husband's family has a tradition to go on vacations on Christmas and celebrate. Their vacations are usually overseas, and every family member has to contribute money to go. I paid pre-K for me and all the kids like my husband wanted. Then I found out that my husband's parents decided that this year they just want immediate family to go on vacation. That means no spouses or children are allowed. I was hurt, but decided to quietly take back the money I contributed to the vacation. My husband's parents found out and told him. He came home and threw a fit, saying it was petty of me to pull the money back. Now, his parents cannot afford to go on vacation, but I told them that since the kids and I were uninvited, and he was okay with spending Christmas away from family, then I thought the only logical thing to do is take the money back. He ranted about his unemployment and his inability to contribute to the vacation, and said that pre-K is nothing to someone who has a salary like mine, but I refused to keep arguing. He's basically sulking and saying that this will ruin his relationship with his family and create unnecessary drama. He's insisting that I made a hasty decision taking the money back and is pressuring me to give it up. So, not only are you and the kids not real family, but that knowledge is supposed to cost you $3,000, and husband fully endorses it? What the duck? You know what else costs $3K? The retainer for a good divorce attorney, not the a-hole. Hang on. Your husband's parents are planning a Christmas vacation, but are only inviting their children? They're not inviting their kids' spouses and their grandchildren? What the hell kind of parents ask their kids to spend Christmas away from their spouses and kids? What the hell kind of grandparents want to spend Christmas with their kids, but not their grandkids? Not the a-hole. This is 9 kinds of ducked up. Your husband wants to spend Christmas without his wife and kids and is expecting you to pay $3K so he can do it. On what planet does this make sense? Take the $3K and use it as a retainer to hire a divorce lawyer. No father who cares about his children would fathom leaving them and his wife to go on a Christmas holiday vacation with his parents. The fact that he wants you to pay for this, and you are questioning if you are the a-hole, tells me that you are in an aggressive relationship. My friend of over 10 years, Connor, is getting married. I don't know the bride, Lisa, that well, because I don't live in the same state where they are based, and they've been together for less than a year. But she asked me to be one of the bridesmaids since I'm one of Connor's closest friends. She was nice to me the couple of times we met, so I accepted. Connor's brother hosted a dinner for the couple last weekend, and I was one of those who were asked to make a toast. I said that I'm glad that Lisa came into Connor's life. I recalled how, before they met, Connor told me that sometimes he wakes up at night and suddenly feels sad because he feels alone and lonely, even though things are great at work. When he met Lisa, he told me how easily he found it to talk to her, which was why he asked her out immediately. I said that just a month after they started dating, Connor told me that being with Lisa made him the happiest that he has ever been in a long time, and he really felt like she was the one. I thanked Lisa for making one of the kindest and most caring people I know happy, and wished them a long and lasting marriage. I thought my toast was fine, since everyone cheered. But when I got home, I got a message from Lisa saying that she did not want to see me at the wedding. She said that I made my toast about my relationship with Connor, highlighted the fact that he tried to come on to me, and made her look like Connor is just with her so he doesn't feel lonely. She blocked me, so I couldn't reply. I called Connor to explain my side. I never considered him telling me he was lonely as him trying to come on to me, and I only mentioned the loneliness thing because I wanted people to know that he used to feel lonely, despite his professional success, and having Lisa in his life made him happy. He was surprised by what I told him, because he didn't know that Lisa messaged me. He said that he would talk to Lisa, and they are still at odds about this issue as far as I know. I don't think I'm attending the wedding after all of this, if only to avoid causing any more tension. But I want to know, am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. That was a nice toast as you describe it. I'm concerned for your friend, though, that they dated for less than a year and are getting married, that he was lonely, that she reacted this way. It doesn't sound very healthy, more codependent, desperate, and rushed, and she sounds like a nut. Everyone sucks here. Sure, she is overreacting, but the reason I'm saying everyone sucks here is because highlighting someone's loneliness, regardless of the intention, and a toast at their engagement party is deeply tacky, and if I were the subject of that toast, I would have felt embarrassed and a bit miffed. You'd essentially painted me as a sad sack. Again, your intention may not have been to do that, but as a third party, that's exactly how I read it. Everyone sucks here. Your toast was too intimate, but her reaction is ridiculous. If anyone should be mad, it's him, for having things he told you in private aired in front of everyone. Not the a-hole. Your speech actually sounds really nice and not at all like you're trying to start anything. Lisa, on the other hand, sounds like a bit of a bunny boiling crazy person. I actually hope this highlights something to Connor that he may not have been aware of, because she sounds super jealous and a bit mad. My wedding to my wonderful husband was last month, and it was magical and so happy, with just one bit of awkwardness. My husband's brother made a speech, and wow, was it awkward and insulting. Highlights were him talking about how my husband used to be such a playboy, sleeping with all different beautiful women, and it took me coming around to make him settle down and grow up. He also made a comment about how I better never cheat on my husband, because he's had his little brother's back through his whole life, and that ain't gonna stop now that he's married. That came off like a threat a little. So at the end of his speech, or maybe just a long pause in it, I couldn't quite tell, I picked up the mic at my table wanting to give him a piece of my mind. But then, I remembered who I was in front of. Grandparents, children, all of our families. So I just settled on going, yikes, and leaving it at that. Something about the microphone or sound setup or something made that so much louder than anything said on mic all night. Imagine the loudest, boomingest echoing in a large hall yikes ever. My husband cracked a joke that I sounded like the voice of God. And God saith upon thou. Yikes, man. And I started getting the giggles, and the microphone caught them and amplified them, and the sound system got in some feedback loop, screeching over my giggles, which made me laugh even harder at the ridiculousness of it all. Anyway, it kind of cut the tension in the room, way better than me saying anything too mad would have done, and we moved on with our night. Now, it's apparently become some sort of an inside joke on my husband's side of the family to go, yikes, at my brother-in-law, which is getting on his nerves apparently. My husband talked to him about the speech, and he apologized for not preparing something better, for making it druckier than he should have, and for overall sticking his foot in his mouth. He'd apparently meant the taming the playboy thing as a compliment. And also, he had more to his speech, stuff that was really complimentary to me, but I'd cut him off before he'd gotten past the jokey part of his speech. But he was kind of annoyed about my reaction. That was really condescending and had become a bit of a joke in his family. Apparently, his kids have gotten in the habit of going, yikes, Dad, too. I don't really regret what I said. I was on the spot, holding back from saying something nasty, and I felt like I chilled out an awkward moment okay. Am I the a-hole for my reaction? Not the a-hole. This is hilarious, and you handled it well, even with the microphone making you the voice of God. Who starts to talk about the bride potentially cheating in the future during a wedding speech? Not the a-hole. Oh wow, just wow. I mean, who does that? I think yikes was remarkably restrained considering that your brother-in-law devoted his speech to talking about all the beautiful women your husband used to sleep with, and then making some weird thinly veiled threat. I would probably go nuclear if that happened to me. Not the a-hole. Your yikes was probably the best thing you could have said in that moment. He knows he did wrong too, but since he's obviously embarrassed, it would be good of your family to ease up on the yikes and give them some time to get over this moment enough to be able to laugh at it more. I, 26 male, have a stepsister, 23 female. We were never close. She would lie and try to get me in trouble, but my dad and her mom would always catch on. She tried ruining a few of my school projects because she was jealous I was doing really well in school, and she was struggling. She even went so far as to try and hide my acceptance letter to my dream university. And I tried to distance myself from her as much as possible, because she is not family. Everyone in my side of the family does not recognize her as family either. That does not make me an a-hole. She's a stranger, and I hate her. Anyways, I'm doing really well for myself. I got lead engineer pretty early on in my career because I never miss an opportunity to work overtime. I've never missed a single day, been late, or needed help with work. Instead, I was the one helping. I earned 6 figures. I moved out of our apartment complex, and with my cousin, we now own a home. My relatives and my dad, whom I still have contact with, visited a few times. A very distinguished part of the house is my flag of Italy. Stepsister was able to find my house because of this detail. All the houses looked very similar. Apparently, my dad kicked her out and told her my address and told her to live with me. She came knocking on my door asking me to stay a few nights and for some money, to which I refused. She kept persistently knocking. I asked her to stop. She said she was my sister and said I have every right to stay in this property. I threatened to get law enforcement involved to remove her from the premises. She was so angry to the point where she tried to throw a rock on my home country's flag. I was so mad. She left screaming, and she is now staying with her aunt from her mom's side. I've been getting angry calls from her side of the family, to which I had to block a few numbers. My friends and family, dad's side, told me I was too nice with how I handled the situation. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. A stepsister is not a half-sister, so you're referring to someone you share no DNA with, which means she isn't your sister and you have no obligations of any sort. And by the way, Dad owes you an apology for sending her your way. Not the a-hole. On what planet does she have the right to say that because if her stepbrother lives in a house, that she gets to too? There's your entitlement. As far as the other family members who are giving you grief for not letting her stay at your place, have just graciously made themselves available for her to stay at their place. Not the a-hole. I don't think you owe her anything. She is entitled in acting this way. You don't have to let her stay, or borrow money if you've never been close. And your dad overstepped giving her your address and telling her to stay with you. Weird. Keep blocking their numbers and just get on with your life. I'm female, about to graduate from university this year, and I'm really happy about it. This is not the US, so I'm graduating from my major directly. Not saying what for privacy reasons. My mom has been married to my stepdad for 10 years now, and he has 3 kids from a previous relationship. I'm not really close to them, but I used to spend weekends and half the holidays with them. My dad, who was also remarried, but I wasn't close to my stepmom and her kids either, passed away 2 years ago. I was a total daddy's girl. He was my favorite person in the world, and I miss him dearly every day. I also love sushi. Neither of my parents like seafood, and my mom refused to eat or take me to sushi places because I had to suck it up for her, while my dad did the effort, so we always went to a small place near his home. He promised me that for my graduation, he'd take me to this big sushi place in town, high-end and expensive, just for the laughs. I looked forward to it every year until he passed. I already knew that my mom wouldn't take me, so I made the plan myself just to close that chapter of my life with my dad. I invited both of my step and bio families, grandparents, 2 uncles each, and my step-parents and their kids. And I'm paying for the whole deal. Expensive, yes, but I've been saving and I can afford it. My mom said no, that neither she or her family would come, and my stepdad said that we should rearrange all the plan to cater everyone. He also said that 2 of his kids developed seafood allergy, and it's not possible for them to come. I said bummer, but anyway, I wasn't going to change my plan, and they're welcome to not come. Both my step-parents and my mom knows why I want this restaurant, and my stepdad said it was insensitive of me, because I was putting a dead man's wishes above my living family. I just shrugged and said whatever he said was pointless to me, and we might be able to do something the next day, but my plans will not change, and they can either come or not. I don't really care. My mom has been sending me texts, calling me spoiled and a brat, but my grandparents, her parents, told me not to listen to her and that they're looking forward to see me at my dinner. My mom also sent me some other restaurants so we can both compromise, and my stepdad offered to pay for the dinner. But I keep saying no. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. It's not about a dead man's wishes, as your stepfather so crassly put it. It's about your wishes. You're the one who is graduating. You're the one who's paying. It isn't up to stepfather or your mother to decide where you celebrate your graduation. If they want a meal they like, they can host another celebration dinner for you. Not the a-hole. Let me get this straight. You plan to have this special dinner for years, and they want to change it? No. Just because your dad thought of it with you doesn't change anything. It's for you, not him. Although I'm sure he will be on your mind. If they can't understand that, then they don't need to go. They don't know what they're missing. Not the a-hole. This is your party. You get to choose where it's at and who is going. If other people want to have parties, they can choose those things for their own parties. I currently have a broken tailbone because my boss decided to kick the office chair when I went to sit. I'm not mad at her because I could easily see myself doing the same thing, and who would have thought? My wife is pretty pissed. She keeps bringing it up and acting like I should do something, but like I said, I don't really blame her. I'm currently out of work and my boss came over today to check on me. She apologized again and she made cupcakes, so I think that is more than enough. My wife lectured her about how dumb and immature it was. This woman ducking owns the company, so that was a stupid thing to do. She was actually really nice and understanding. When she left, I told my wife that she was completely inappropriate, and how dare she jeopardize my job like that. We had a fight, and I told her that she really embarrassed me, which she did not take well. Yes, the a-hole. Your wife is right, and you have every right to sue for any medical expenses, out-of-work pay, and disability. Your boss only came over to make sure you won't sue, and she acted like a good guy with concern to throw you off. Don't be fooled. She only came over to see if you were angry enough to sue her. What she did was a liability, and you could end up with long-term pain because of this, and suing the crap out of her. Even though your boss was joking, what she did was an intentional liability. So, yes, your wife was right, and you were wrong. Yes, the a-hole. And if your boss fired you because your wife was pissed that said boss injured you in a prank, I'm fairly certain that there's a big lawsuit coming their way. This isn't the office. A boss can't run over somebody with their car and it just gets laughed off. You're such a huge a-hole that it can be seen from space. Seriously. You admit that your wife sees your relationship with your boss as flirty, yet your wife takes the back burner. You and your boss act like effing children, and it has affected your wife because she's the one taking care of you. You haven't answered any questions about the flirting. You're misdirecting your anger because your wife actually gives a crap about you. Grow up and learn how to treat your wife. Put yourself in her shoes, and imagine she has a broken tailbone because of her stupid and careless flirting with her boss.